I need to warn you about these 4 sovereigns, but before I do, we're going to take a look at this little date run I've got. So I've got 2 runs here, and they are just at the bottom. We have the full run of Jubilee Head Gold Sovereigns. So they are these here. We have from 1887 up until 1893. Then the next is the Old Head, which is at the bottom. And we have here from 1893 up to 1901 and including. So the reason I want to warn you about these 4 sovereigns is we have different Victorias, okay? So we've got, you'll see here, a couple of different dates. We've got 2 1887s up at the top. We've got an 1893 and another 1893. So we've got 4 sovereigns and 2 dates. So the interesting thing about these, let me show you. We have obviously number 1 here and number 2 here. So I'll just let you take a closer look, and I just want you to have a real close look and just see if there's anything you notice first of all. So they're both the same date. Now this caught me out when I first got my first young head sovereigns. Now this one here is a Jubilee head, and I'm going to rotate that around so you can see. So I'll just do that again. So we have the coin here. We're going to just let it rotate this way, and we have the Jubilee head there. Whereas this one here is a young head, and we're going to flip the coin this way to reveal the portrait here. So just once more in case you missed it, we flip this way for the Jubilee head and back. So same as George's, same as Edward's, but the young heads we flip this way. So if you haven't seen a George or an Ed, this one is Ed, and again we flip this way. So it's, I'd call that like a rotation on the axis, as opposed to young Victoria where we flip this way. And that is actually a shield sovereign, but let's just get that in focus. So we would flip like so and drop it everywhere. So we would get a bit of focus, we would flip like so. Okay, so if you've got these 2 different dates, it was a busy year for the mints, so they did both portraits. They did the young head and they did the Jubilee head. So they're the same date, they're both 1887, but they are 2 different coins, okay? So 1893 was the end of the Jubilee portrait. So we flipped that around and we got to the old head. This one here, also 1893, but with the Jubilee portrait there. So this was the last of the Jubilee years. This is the first of what is the veil head, or the old head, or the widowed head, some people might call it, but to be honest, I've not heard many people use that term. So 1893 and 1893. So just in case you come across these sovereigns and you pick them up and you're wondering what on earth has happened, is one a fake? It's not necessarily a fake because they were both produced. So if you're doing a date run, you'll find it a little bit annoying that you need to get the 2 coins for the date, as I found with this one and this one. So yeah, I had to just pick this Jubilee up today because I had the correct date, but I didn't have both portraits. So, well, there we go. I've got them both now. Just a quick point to think about. On the Jubilee head, you'll find the mint mark above the date on the ground there. That one, I can't just see. Oh, it does. It's got an M for Melbourne. Whereas on the young heads, you'll see the mint mark here on the Georgian Dragon design. If there is one, it will be below the neck. So not to be confused with the engraver's initials, which are in the actual neck itself. And yeah, you'll not see it on the ground there. So here you'll see, as I just briefly showed before, we have the 1887 through to 1893. And that is all the available years for the Jubilee portrait. And then down here we have from 1893 up to 1901. So that is the full set of those. You'll see in the background some other young Victorias, and for those I am 2 dates away from having all of the George and Dragon coins. So George and Dragon, this St George design, whereas the Shield Young Victorias, like this one, they were from 1938 up until 1887, so not every single year was produced, but there are a lot of those. I need about 36 because I've got a lot of duplicates, unfortunately. So out of, over a tube of sovereigns, I'm, around the 30. I'm not sure whether it's just over or just under 30 Shield sovereigns. I only have 12 different dates. So the most important thing is obviously to get, good quality sovereigns, and some of those earlier dates you are going to be paying a pretty hefty premium to get good examples. But like this one just came in a best value, at a low premium really, which, very lucky. It's a very, very nice example. But you never know, just over time you're going to pick up some nice coins here and there, and it will get you closer. So if you are looking at a date run, I'd be curious to chat in the comments, let me know where you're up to. If you are just stacking bullion, whatever soft comes up at a best price, then that's fair enough as well. That's going to be a decent strategy in the long term too. Or if you're more of a collector, are you only buying the nicest examples of whatever you can find, and just, building up a good quality stack of, really nice coins. So let me know in the comments. Talk to you soon.